Mazandaran Province pronunciation, is an Iranian province located along the southern coast of the Caspian Sea in the adjacent Central Alborz mountain range, in central northern Iran. Introduction. Mazandaran Province is one of the most densely populated provinces in Iran and has diverse natural resources, notably large reservoirs of oil and natural gas. The province's four largest counties are Sari, Amal, Enua, and Tonikabon. It was founded in 1937. The diverse nature of the province features plains, prairies, forests and rainforests stretching from the sandy beaches of the Caspian Sea to the rugged and snow-capped Alborz Sierra, including Mount Damavand, one of the highest peaks and volcanoes in Asia, which at the narrowest point narrows to 5 miles. Mazandaran is a major producer of farmed fish, and aquaculture provides an important economic addition to traditional dominance of agriculture. Another important contributor to the economy is the tourism industry, as people from all of Iran enjoy visiting the area. Mazandaran is also a fast-growing center for biotechnology and civil engineering. Administrative divisions. The province covers an area of 23,842 square kilometers. According to the census of 2006, the population of the province was 2,922,432, of which 53.18% were urban dwellers, 46.82% villages, and remaining were non-residents. Sari is the capital city of the province. Mazandaran is divided into 15 counties. All the Sharestans are named after their administrative center, except Savadku. History. Human habitation in the area dates back at least 75,000 years. Recent excavations in Gortip provide proof that the area has been urbanized for more than 5,000 years, and the area is considered one of the most important historical sites of Iran. It has played an important role in cultural and urban development of the region. Indigenous peoples of the region include the ethnic Mazandaranis, who speak an Iranian language which most closely resembles Gilaki and Sanguisari language, but also has phonotypical similarities to several Caucasian languages, reflecting the history of the region and its peoples. In the early 20th century, Reza Shah connected northern Alborz to the southern slopes by constructing 7 new roads and railways. The provinces of Mazandaran and Gilan became known as Shomal by all Iranians. Mazandaran is a Caspian province in the north of Iran. Located on the southern coast of the Caspian Sea, it is bordered clockwise by Russia, Golistan, Semnan, Tehran, Alborz, Kazvan, and Gilan provinces. Sari is the largest city and the capital of Mazandaran Province. Mazandaran Province was made part of the first region upon the division of the provinces into 5 regions solely for coordination and development purposes on June 22, 2014. History. Pre-Islamic history. Before the arrival of the Iranian speakers to Iran, native people of this area were subsistence hunters and cattle herders. Archaeological studies in Caves Belt and Hutuman in Beshar in the Mazandaran date to approximately 9500 BC. Aryan migration from the northeastern borders of modern Iran began around the 3rd millennium BC, mixed with the natives. Amadids were a tribe living along the mountainous region bordering the Caspian Sea, including current-day Amal. The Aryan people and Scythian tribes before the arrival of the next group, the Aryans, Medes, Persians, and Parthians, lived in a part of the current Caspian. The region is known to have been populated from early antiquity, and Mazandaran has changed hands among various dynasties from early in its history. There are several fortresses remaining from Parthian and Sassanid times, and many older cemeteries scattered throughout the province. During this era, Mazandaran was part of Hyrcania province, which was one of the important provinces. With the advent of the Sassanid dynasty, the king of Mazandaran was Gushnasp, whose ancestors had reigned in the area since the time of Alexander. In 529 to 536, Mazandaran was ruled by the Sassanid prince Kaus, son of Kavad. Anushirarawan, the Sassanid king, defeated Zamai, who claimed his ancestry from the legendary blacksmith Kaveh. This dynasty ruled till 645 AD, when Gilgilan Shah joined Mazandaran to Gilan. These families had descendants who ruled during the Islamic period. Now called Mazandaran, comprehends the largest and widest portion of the low plain along the shores of the Caspian Sea. It is one of the most fertile provinces of the Persian Empire, whether the mountains of the plains are considered. Travelers passing through the forests of Mazandaran pass through thickets of sweetbriar and honeysuckle, and are surrounded with acacias, oaks, lindens, and chestnut trees. The summits of the mountains are crowned with cedars, cypresses, and various species of pines. So beautiful is this district, that in the hyperbolical language of the Orientals it is styled Belad al-Ayam, or the land of the terrestrial paradise. Sir W. Ouseley relates that Kaikous, the Persian king, was fired with ambition to conquer so fine a country, through the influence of a minstrel, who exhausted all his powers of music and poetry in the praise of its beauties. His strains read thus: "Let the king consider the delights of Mazandaran, and may the country flourish during all eternity, for in its gardens roses ever blow, and even its mountains are covered with hyacinths and tulips. Its land abounds in all the beauties of nature. Its climate is salubrious and temperate, neither too warm nor too cold. It is a region of perpetual spring. There are in shady bowers, the nightingale ever sings, that the fawn and antelope incessantly wander among the valleys. Every spot, throughout the whole year, is embellished and perfumed with flowers. The very brooks of the country seem to be rivulets of rose water. So much does this exquisite fragrance delight the soul. During the winter months, as at all other seasons, the ground is enameled, and the banks of murmuring streams smile with variegated flowers. Everywhere the pleasures of the chase may be enjoyed. All places abound with money, fine stuffs for garments, and every other article necessarily for comfort or luxury. There are all the attendants so lovely damsels, wearing golden coronets, and all the men illustrious warriors, whose girdles are studded with gold, and nothing but a wilful perversity of mind, or corporeal infirmity, can hinder a person from being cheerful and happy in Mazandaran. Such were the delights the Oriental poet held out to his rulers in Mazandaran, in all the force of Oriental exaggeration. The province of Mazandaran was doubtless a delightful province, but there appear to have been some drawbacks upon its loveliness. Sir W. Ouseley states that on entering Mazandaran, he was informed that he would find a babr tiger, aguras, or ruba foxes, shakal, jackals, and a gurg, or wolf. Accordingly, the very first thing that he saw on entering a village of Hyrcania was the carcass of a large wolf, which had been shot just half an hour before his arrival, and which looked terrible in death, grinning horribly, a ghastly grin, thus proving the truth of the poet, that everywhere the pleasures of the chase may be enjoyed, if such may be termed pleasures. In ancient times, Hyrcania was infested with panthers and tigers, so fierce and cruel, as to give rise to a proverb concerning fierce and unrelenting men, that they had sucked Caspian tigers. The poet Virgil refers to this in his Aeneid. Representing Dido chiding Aeneas, he puts into her mouth these words: "False as thou art, and more than false, forsworn, not sprung from noble blood, nor goddess born, but hewn from hardened entrails of a rock, and rough Caspian tigers gave thee suck. Strabo, who extends Hyrcania as far north as the river Ochus, says from Aristobulus that was a woody region, producing oaks and pines, but not the pitch pine, which abounded in India. It has been mentioned as a curious circumstance, that in Mazandaran and axe used for cutting is called tabr. Now the Tapiri, or Tabari, inhabited a district in Hyrcania, and if this name be derived from tabr, an axe, it will signify hatchet men, or woodcutters, a name very appropriate to the inhabitants of a country covered with forests like Mazandaran and, though restricted by the Greeks to the western inhabitants of that province, is equally applicable to those of the eastern part. According to Sir W. Ouseley, the name of the part in which the Tabari lived, namely, Tabristan, or Tabaristan, signifies the country of wood. According to Moria, Mazandaran is a modern Persian phrase, signifying, within the boundary or limit of the mountain. This is confirmed by Sir W. Ouseley, who says, from Hamdallah, an eminent Persian geographer, that Mazandaran was originally named Mazandaran, or within the mountain moors. He says, the Central Alborz is an immense mountain adjacent to Bab al-Abwab, and many mountains are connected with Alborz, so that from Turkestan to Hejaz, it forms a range extending in length 1,000 farsangs, about 130 miles, more or less, and on this account some regard it as the mountain of Kaf. Its western side, connected with the mountains of Gurgestan, is called the Koh Lagzi, and the Sur al-Karim relates that in the Koh Lagzi there are various races of people, so that about 70 different languages or dialects are used among them, and in that mountain are many wonderful objects, and when it reaches Shamshat and Malatia, it is called Kali Kala. At Antakya and Sarkalia, it is called Lekam. There it divides Sham from Rum. When it reaches between Hems and Demish, it is called Lebanon, and near Mecca and Medina, it is called Arish. Its eastern side, connected with the mountains of Aran and Azerbaijan, it is called Cake, and when it reaches Tigrilan and Iraq, it takes the name of Turkle Dcuh. It is called Mas when it reaches Kurnish and Mazandaran, and originally Mazandaran was named Mazandaran, and when Alborz reaches Khorasan, it is called Lari. Unlike the rest of Persia, Mazandaran is watered by numerous rivers, or mountain torrents, all running from the mountains to the sea. The German traveller G. Mellin, who visited this country a.d. 1771, says that in the space of 8 miles, on the road from Rish to Amot, 250 of such streams are to be seen, many of them being so exceedingly broad and deep that the passage across is sometimes impracticable for weeks together. In this respect Mazandaran furnishes a striking contrast to the waste and barren shores of southern Persia, where for many hundred miles there is not a stream to be met with deep enough to take a horse above the knee. Hence arises the fertility of Mazandaran. So mild and humid, indeed, is the climate of Mazandaran, that it permits the growth of the sugar cane, and the production of good sugar, and that in perfection 4 months earlier than in the West Indies. For the lack of art and care, however, this gift of nature is not turned to account by the inhabitants of that province. Post-Islamic history. During the post-Islamic period, the local dynasties fall into 3 classes. 1. Local families of pre-Islamic origin. 2. The elite Sayyides. And 3. Local families of secondary importance. The Bawandids, who claimed descent from Kawis, provided 3 dynasties. The first dynasty was overthrown on the conquest of Tabaristan by the Ziyarid Qabuzbi Wushlamgar. The second dynasty reigned from 466 1073 to 606 1210, when Mazandaran was conquered by Ala al-Din ad-Din Muhammad Qasim Shah III ruled from 635 1237 to 750 1349 as vassals of the Mongols. The last representative of the Bawandids was killed by Afrasiab Chulawi. The Karinids claimed descent from Kairan, brother of Zamai, who was the pre-Islamic ruler under the Sassanids. The last representative, Mazia, was put to death in 224 839. The Padusbanids claimed descent from the Dabuids of Gilan. They came to the front about 4660, and during the rule of the Alids were the vassals. Later, they were vassals of the Buyids and Bawandids, who deposed them in 586 1190. The dynasty, restored in 606 1209-10, survived till the time of Dimur. The branch descended from Kais, the son of Kaamath, reigned till 975 1567, and the other, that of Iskander the son of Kaamath, till 984 1574. In the 9th–11th century AD, there were repetitively military raids undertaken by the Rus between 864 and 1041 on the Caspian Sea shores of Iran, Azerbaijan, and Dagestan as part of the Caspian expeditions of the Rus. Initially, the Rus appeared in Circland in the 9th century, traveling as merchants along the Volga trade route, selling furs, honey, and slaves. The first small-scale raids took place in the late 9th and early 10th century. The Rus undertook the first large-scale expedition in 913, having arrived on 500 ships. They pillaged the westernmost parts of Gorgan as well as Mazandaran and Gilan, taking slaves and goods. In the Safavid era, Mazandaran was settled by very large amounts of Georgians, Circassians, Armenians, and other peoples of the Caucasus, whose descendants still live or linger across Mazandaran. Towns, villages and neighborhoods in Mazandaran still bear the name Gorgi in them, although most of the large amounts of Georgians and Circassians are already assimilated into the mainstream Mazandaranis. The history of Georgian settlement is described by Iskander Begmunshi, the author of the 17th-century Tarikh al-Amara-i Abbasi, and both the Circassian and Georgian settlements by Pietro della Valle, among other authors. Geography and population. Geography. Mazandaran is located on the southern coast of the Caspian Sea. It is bordered clockwise by Golistan, Semnan and Tehran provinces. This province also borders Kazvan and Gilan to the west. Mazandaran Province is geographically divided into two parts: the coastal plains and the mountainous areas. The Alborz mountain range surrounds the coastal strip and plains of the Caspian Sea. There is often snowfall in the Alborz regions, which run parallel to the Caspian Sea's southern coast, dividing the province into many isolated valleys. The province enjoys a moderate, subtropical climate with an average temperature of 25 degrees Celsius in summer and about 8 degrees Celsius in winter. Although snow may fall heavily in the mountains in winter, it rarely falls at sea level. Ecoregions: Caspian High Canyon mixed forests, Elburz range forest steppe. Climate. It has a variety of climates, including the mild and humid climate of Caspian shoreline and the moderate and cold climate of mountainous regions. The western and central plains of the province, up to the northern foothills of Alborz mountain range, experience the mild climate of the Caspian region. In the 1,500 to 3,000 meter altitudes, there is a moderate mountainous climate with long, cold winters, and and short, mild summers. In this region, snow covers parts of the province even up to the middle of the warm season. In fact, snow can be observed in this region even in the warmest months of the year. Demographics. The population of the province has been steadily growing during the last 50 years. The following table shows the approximate province population, excluding the Golestan province, which has separated as an independent province in 1998. The population is overwhelmingly Mazandarani, with a minority of Azerbaijanis, Georgians, Armenians, Circassians, Turkmen and others. In recent years, the region has seen an influx of Iranians from other regions of Iran, many of them attracted by its nature and seaside. Transportation. Roads. Mazandaran is connected to Tehran by Haraz Road, Kandavan Road, and Firozkoh Road. Airports. Dashtinaz Airport, serving the capital Sari, Noshar Airport, and Ramsar Airport are the domestic airports that connect the province to the other parts of the country. Railway. Mazandaran is served by the North Railway Department of the Iranian Railways. The department connects the province to Tehran to the south and Gorgan to the east. The cities of Sari, Kaimshah, and Polsafed are major stations of the department. Culture. The peoples of the two provinces are largely secular, and consequently women have had greater social freedom and independence than the Persian cousins. Language. Mazandarani Tabarian is a northwestern Iranian language. Various Mazandarani dialects exist which are spoken in Mazandaran Province and the neighbor province Golestan, such as Mazandarani, and Gorgani and possibly Kudukalai and Palani. Today, Mazandaranis also use Persian. The educated can communicate and read Persian well. A dialect of Azeri is spoken in the town of Galuga. In literature, in the Persian epic Shahnameh, Mazandaran is mentioned in two different sections. The first mention is implicit when Feridun sets its capital in a city called Tamish near Amal. Under the title, and when Manacher is returning to Feridun's capital, Tamasha in Mazandaran, after his victory over Samantur. In the second section, a region called Mazandaran is mentioned in the Kaikavuz era. It is an area which is mostly inhabited by Div, the legendary Iranian Shah Kaikavuz, as well as the Iranian hero Rostam. Each take turn to go to Mazandaran in order to battle the demons. A famous verse from Shahnameh is when Zal tells Kaikavuz, I heard troubling news that the king is planning to go to Mazandaran. However, this Mazandaran is not considered identical to the modern province of Mazandaran, and is instead a land to the west of Iran. The current province was simply considered a part of Tabaristan. The name Mazandaran is a later development, perhaps based upon local terminology. In Gaston Leroux's The Phantom of the Opera, one of the characters was formerly the Daroga of Mazandaran. Arash story of the Shahnameh. Notable people. Notable people from and or active in Mazandaran province or its historical region include artists Omar Tiberiades - architect and astrologer, Kaya al-Nisa Begum - painter, Mo Karameh Ganbari - painter, Tawhidi Tabari - calligrapher, musicians, poets in the Persian and or Mazandarani languages, cinema artists, scientists, historians, philosophers and theologians, politicians, royalty. Reza Shah Pahlavi - Shah of the Kingdom of Iran, Muhammad Reza Pahlavi - last Shah of Iran. Sports people gallery. dot 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 dot.